Hello geeks, this is your patron saint Kevin Curtis Allen from the sunny Isle of Wight. I hope you all had a great Christmas and a happy new year. But we know what this means, don't we? I can say I'm coming to Florida. Not next year, not next month, but this month. So on the 22nd of January, myself and my wife and my two sons, we board in a plane for Florida, as long as Boris the Clown doesn't change the rules and your good man, President Biden, keeps those borders open. We're coming to Florida. Brace yourself, guys. The Brits are coming. Are you excited for the G3 coming up in February, starting on the 3rd of February through to Monday the 7th. We've got lots of things planned, people. Are you coming? Are you excited? I hope you are. And if you're really looking for something to listen to, download That Florida podcast released today. Don't tell Kurt. I'm really excited in this episode, so please go and download it. Don't tell Kurt, I said, but I do plug him anyway. See you at the G3, guys.
Hey Disney World geeks, Curtis Stone here, and welcome to episode 432 of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. Thank you, Kevin. I am excited also for this year, 2022, the G3 coming up less than 30 days. I hope you're excited too. I hope I get to see you there real soon. And this week, we're going to check in on Universal Orlando with Seth Kubersky. He's the author of the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando. And we'd love to go to Universal. I know Kevin's going to be there his first few days. You know, when the Brits come over to America, they like to check out all of Florida. And you got to do Universal Orlando. And, you know, you can book that with Mom and Auntie Judy too. So I'd love for you guys to check out Universal Orlando as well as Disney World. So let's get that in this week. And I've been having fun chatting with Disney World fans and geeks for over 7 years. Started the podcast with my daughter, Lindsay, talking about our Disney World trips. And then we began to bring on you Disney geeks to tell your Disney World trip stories. Our listeners are so positive, caring, and generous, and we do encourage a family atmosphere here on the podcast. Before too long, they were calling me the Podfather, and I continued to bring on you, the listeners, to tell your Disney World trip stories. We'd love for you to join our Geekin' family. We've got an amazing private discussion group in Facebook. Search for Geekin' on WDW Family. Ask your questions, share your trip pictures, just engage with one of the best Disney groups in all of the internet. We're also independent Disney authorized travel agents with Fairy Tale Concierge. You know, Fairy Tale Concierge is a platinum authorized Disney vacation planning agency. And we'd love to book your Disney trips. We're your Disney travel guides, and you got Mama and Auntie Judy full time working to help you book those trips, book those dining reservations, and help you plan the best Disney World vacation you possibly can. Or Universal Orlando. Yeah, we can do that. And Disneyland too. We're going to have Seth come on and do Disneyland also. And I've got even the big book of the Unofficial Guide coming up real soon with Fred Hazelton. We're going to cover the Disney World Unofficial Guide too. I love those books. Thanks for everyone who booked their trip with us and Mama and Auntie Judy with the Travelin' Tiaras. And let's talk with the Travelin' Tiara.
Hey, Curtis. Hey, geeks. How are you?
Hey, Judy. I said Tierra. Did you notice that?
I heard that. Yes.
It's just you and me.
Okay.
Little intro. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh, I can't believe it's January 2nd already.
Aren't you excited it's January, though? I mean, the holidays are over.
The holidays are over, and this morning I thought I need to start getting my stuff organized for our trip because we're leaving on January 30th, so we're leaving this month.
Isn't that so excited when you got a trip planned to Disney World within the month?
Yes, and Kevin's only less than 3 weeks out now. He's getting close. Yeah. Well,
this week we're doing, coincidentally, the unofficial guide books. My reviews and interviews start with this release of this podcast. I got Seth Kubersky coming on talking about Universal Orlando just for Kevin.
That will be interesting. That'll be good because then Kevin will have all the latest info
exactly
for his trip to the other park.
He hasn't been there in a while, so he needs an update on what's going on at Universal. We love Universal too, don't we, Judy? Because
it's great. I love all the Harry Potter stuff there.
Yeah, and Mom and Judy can book that for you guys. I want to definitely remind everyone that we are authorized for Universal Orlando travel agents also.
We can book, Disney World, Disneyland. We can do Disney Paris and over China, Shanghai and Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
We also can do Disney Cruise Line.
Right.
Universal. And we can do Adventures by Disney.
There you go.
When those come back. So we can do anything Disney plus Universal. Yeah.
And Mom sometimes will say that Universal is actually really easy to book.
It is.
We love setting that up. And you're going to hear Seth talk about now I think it's great to go for 4 days over there too. And I think that's exactly what Kevin's doing.
Yeah, because there's 2 parks and they've got so much new at Islands of Adventure with Harry Potter stuff. I've done the castle, Hogwarts. I also rode some crazy roller coaster that I thought I was going to die on. They don't call cast members, but when the team member, I got in the roller coaster, said, "Oh, I think you should take your sandals off and sit on them." I thought I'm in big trouble now.
And the water park, and they got some great resorts too. So
they do. Yeah,
definitely. I know we do book a bunch of geeks over there too. So I don't want you to think just because we're all about Disney World that we don't love Universal Orlando, because I think it's fun to take advantage of all the things that are in Central Florida, especially in the winter time. Well, what else are you going to do? Stay up north and
listen, I want to do a shout out to Tom Ellis. Tom Ellis, yeah,
Ellison.
Up in Seattle area. I just want to say, Tom, go Buckeyes. I'll leave it at that. He'll know what I mean.
I know. During our Wednesday Zoom calls, there's a lot of football talk sometimes. There's some big fans.
He said we'd never win, and we did.
Oh, there you go. Good job.
Go Ohio State. Yes. It was a nail biter, but we pulled it out. So
fantastic. I want to give a shout out to Judy, who was on the Disney Crush podcast. I think it was this past week. Although I was off on vacation, I didn't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I did listen to that one. I thoroughly enjoyed you and Tori talking about some disability issues touring Disney World, and you have your scooter, which I'm well aware of your situation.
Yeah.
Although I thought you were quite kind to all the people you run over when you're in the Disney.
I've really only run over my husband, and it really was running into him, not over him.
That particular incident was I laughed too much during that incident.
And that other guy that was watching you, he got so mad at you for laughing at me and not helping me.
I didn't know Ken at the time got whacked real hard in the shin. Boy, it hurts when you get smacked in the shin too.
Oh, I know. I thought it broke his leg.
But how you got jammed into that Starbucks in Animal Kingdom, I will never in my whole life forget. You were in there tight
I thought they were going to have to take the door handle off to get me out.
Well, what a great, if you guys are interested in just learning about traveling to Disney World, it's such a great, I think the moral of the story was just how a great vacation it can be. If of all the places in all the world, I think Tori speaks about it
She does.
very well in terms of how accommodating and how special of a place it is for folks to go that do have a disability. So
yeah, she really spoke very well about it.
talk about our great listeners, huh, Judy? Oh my gosh.
I know.
I aspire to be Tori in maybe my next life. She's such a special lady.
Is definitely a special lady. She's such a sweetheart. I just talked with her on the phone today.
You did?
Yeah, we're going to book a couple of things for her. So, yeah, she and Joe are coming for the Run Disney event, and they want to take a carriage ride at Riverside.
It just so happens she's going to be my trip report coming up next week.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
She's awesome. I'm so glad
she is.
I got her coming on. And yeah, so that's great. Check out the Disney Crush podcast from last week.
They're a great bunch. They're fun to
you
they're
did
fun
a good
to be
job,
with.
Judy.
Thank you.
Did you do a shout out to the Geekin' podcast?
I did do a shout out to the geeks. Absolutely. Yes.
You are famous.
Maybe infamous. I don't know about famous.
Well,
I don't know.
I see you guys. I feel like there's a tick up in our bookings. People interested in going into Disney World this year. You guys were booking restaurants. I know you had a great early morning booking of about 14 restaurants for one of our clients.
The pixie dust was flying. We booked 14 reservations for a client, and we were done within 11 minutes.
The power of multiple travel ladies.
Yeah, it went so smoothly. We could not believe it.
Well, let's hope that continues.
We could not believe it. And we got everything she wanted, too. That was even better to get her first choices.
New person who contacted us, and I thought he had an interesting situation where his wife has never been to Disney World. He's been there before, but she thinks that, in matter of fact, they're from Connecticut down on the shore. So maybe one of these days during a lobster roll run, we'll catch up with them. But they're saying I thought it was interesting how she thinks Disney World is like Riverside up in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Okay. All right.
I've heard that before. A friend of mine.
Really?
My friend Joe.
Gosh.
Simple Joe from the Simple Joe podcast. He talks about this and how a lot of people don't realize, if they've never been to Disney World before, they think it's like a amusement park they've known from their local area. And I don't know. How do you explain Disney World to people that have never been down there before and think it's like great adventure?
I don't know. People that frequent Disneyland in California and come to Florida, they don't have any idea. And I've heard that Disneyland, not California Adventure, but Disneyland, that park could fit in the parking lot of our Magic Kingdom. And that's the difference in the size. I've been to Disneyland, California, but it was a lot of years ago. And it's the same, but it's very different.
I just want to try. I can't explain it to them because it's so unexplainable. Just to relax, open your mind, and realize you're going to some place that is much more than Great Adventure or the Springfield we know in Massachusetts, the amusement park up there. And it's a very large property that you're just going to have to warm up to.
Well, the thing that gets me is that the property itself is 45 square miles that Disney owns. The town I live in, Norfolk, is 45 square miles.
Okay. And that's, yeah.
So I think of that, and I think how much land we have here in rural Norfolk. That's the size of Disney World. And there's so much unused space at Disney World. You know, their parks and their hotels don't take up the majority of the land that they have.
So, Judy, you got a Christmas present. And
yes,
actually,
I did.
Hey, thank you. We had a fun, day during my vacation. We got together, had some Chinese food, and watched some Disney Plus, and had some fun time sharing some Christmas gifts. Thank you for my Tervis mug, which I've been using. Matter of fact, Judy, it's right here. It's actually kind of full of coffee still from this morning.
Okay. It's probably still warm.
I got a cupboard full of Disney coffee mugs, like every Disney geek that listens to this show. But, funny enough, I've been using these Tervis mugs.
Yeah.
Like I have the Star Wars one that we got from the food plan. That big one I have? I think you have the same one. Or you bought it?
I got one for my daughter-in-law. Yeah, the Baby Yoda one.
Yes, I have that one. If I know I'm going to be sitting here for a long time, I usually use that one. And Margita's got one that's got the Baby Yoda. So I have like 4 of these Tervis mugs. But the reason I use these, if you put the top on, it keeps the coffee hot for so long.
Well, I have one that Amy Rhodes sent me one, and I use that one a lot. That's a Tervis. And it keeps my drinks cold. But my favorite one is this one, and that's the silly little cup that we got for Finding Remy. This was the prize. Yeah.
For drinking your drinks?
I drink my soda out of it. It's a great one. But I use that all the time. But I do use the Tervis one that Amy gave me a lot. And I use that same one that I got at Disney with the Star Wars on it. It's not Tervis, but it does hold your drinks.
And you gave me a brand new keychain with
special one.
The Geekin logo. I've got the only one in existence, probably.
No, you don't.
Oh, there's another one?
Tori has one.
Tori.
She got hers before you.
Well, that's fine with me.
But I'm going to be bringing a lot of those with the Geekin logo with me.
Oh, cool. Where'd
January.
you get that pattern? Where'd you get the
I had
material?
that fabric made. I sent it to, I don't know, one of those companies, Zoozle or Zazzle, one of those. And you send them an image and they make fabric out of it.
Oh, super.
So I use that, yeah.
Very cool. What did Mom get you for Christmas?
She got me beautiful sapphire Minnie Mouse earrings.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Oh, yes. And a couple of gift cards.
Nice.
Yes, very nice. Very nice.
Does Ken like his new crepe machine?
He does, but he hasn't used it yet. He's been real busy on other projects.
We got him a crepes.
But he will.
Because he loves those Disney World crepes. So we got him a crepe.
Yeah.
Make his own crepes. We made Mickey.
Yeah, he will.
Well, not Mickey waffles. We had the Mickey waffle batter with a waffle maker that Mom got for Christmas. That was cool.
My son got me that same waffle batter, and it's good. I like it.
Yummy. You were telling me you got a book for Christmas.
Oh, yes. And I got the Hidden Mickeys of Walt Disney World from my son and daughter-in-law, Ben. Ben gave me this one.
All right.
And it's got some really neat hidden Mickeys all over Walt Disney World, but I picked my favorite attraction.
So how many hidden Mickeys you going to give me?
The Tower of Terror.
Oh, Tower of Terror, yeah.
I'll give you 4.
All right, 4 hidden Mickeys.
So, all right. Yeah. So when you first go in, I don't remember any of this because I was such a mess when I walked in that I don't even remember walking through it. But however, the hotel has a library and it's got books, but it also has collections of antiques, exotic curiosities, old television set. And on the bookshelf, there's a song sheet on the bookshelf. And the song sheet reads, "What? No Mickey? What kind of party is this?" And there's a hidden Mickey on that song sheet.
Oh, that's cool.
So
where in Tower of Terror is that?
In the library when you're walking through.
All right.
On the pre-queue.
Mom loves the Twilight Zone marathons. I've been watching 48 hours of Twilight Zone marathon shows.
Oh, jeez. They scare me.
I wake up, I think I've got, I'm having nightmares because I'm waking up in the middle of the night and Twilight Zone is still on. That's a good one. All right, give me another one.
All right. When you are on the ride, at the first stop, there's ghostly images of the hotel's 5 permanent ghosts are guests. And I guess there's a little girl that's in the group, and she's holding a Mickey Mouse doll. Do you ever notice that when
No.
you're on it? Well, you have to look next time.
This
Or
is in the
Travis
Haunted
can look
Mansion?
when he goes on. No, this is in Tower of Terror.
Oh, I got you.
These are all Tower of Terror.
Okay. I'm with you now.
These are all Tower of Terror. Yeah. When you get off the Tower of Terror, just by where that photo pickup counter is,
Mhm.
if you look on the floor, it says to the left before you go in that merchandise shop, the tiles there's a set of tiles that are darker than the other tiles, and they're shaped in the shape of a Mickey head, the 3 tiles.
Mm.
And all the tiles are there, but you have to look at the shading of the tiles.
Oh, that's a good one.
And they're a Mickey head. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a hard one because
So
you're
those
all shaken up from riding the ride. You don't pay attention.
Yeah, you're like kissing the ground because you finally made it and you didn't die.
You're laughing.
Yeah.
Or you're laughing at your fellow friends.
Yeah. So those are 3 really, really neat ones that are at the Tower of Terror.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a neat book. So I'm gonna see what I can find.
You said you had a 4th one.
4th one. Yes, I did. I forgot it. I'm sorry. When you leave the attraction, it says you're in the hotel's basement, and you'll come upon a cage that has various gadgets and equipments. And if you look at the gadgets, there's a set of coiled, a set of gauges that are located on the left side of the cage, and they form a classic Mickey head.
All right.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Well,
Judy.
thank you to my son who got me the book.
Yeah, you got to do some studying. You got like less than 30
Yeah.
days.
Hey, you know what I'm going to look for when we're down there? I was looking through my pictures of my October trip. Are the golden characters? There's 50 golden characters scattered throughout the parks.
Wow.
I have a paper. I found a sheet where everyone is listed, and I'm going to try to get a picture of all 50.
Check them
I think
all
I've got-
off for the 50th anniversary.
I've got 10 of them right now that I have found and taken pictures of. So I'm gonna hunt for those.
A great scavenger hunt.
I know there's no cost to it. You can just go through and find all the characters, and they're in all 4 parks.
Well, all right. I want you to get serious about the G3 planning now, Judy. No more goofing
Yes.
off.
No, we're not goofing off.
I want those Wednesday planning sessions to start to get focused.
Good luck on that.
Can you help me?
Although Samantha did put out a thing today on Facebook where she put everybody's name, how many people you were coming with, because she is putting people with the different reservations now. So
I know.
she's getting serious about it.
She's been the only one that's been serious the entire time. No, I'm only joking. We're all having fun, and it's
And Wendy Fox is
down there, right?
It is great.
Wendy's down there.
Yeah, Wendy's
getting
down there.
her scavenger hunt put together. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
I know it's getting close. You'll be there ahead of me this time.
Really? Oh, cool. Good.
Because you're getting it. You're going in on the 30th, right?
Is
or
it
the 31st?
31st?
I don't
here's
know.
the thing. Please meet me before you meet Judy. That is the goal. Don't find Judy first. Find me first.
Oh no. Yeah, no. I'm already looking at possible. One of the members of our church was giving me another way that we could drive down and try to avoid that Washington, Baltimore area.
All
so
right.
I've got to map things out, and
we learned
then
something
we got
new.
to start watching the weather too, because yeah, it's 50 degrees right now, but it's going to be 20 tomorrow.
No, the temperature's going to drop down. I know it's going to be freezing tomorrow.
It's going to be freezing tomorrow.
All right, Judy. We'll talk to you.
All right, Curtis.
Next week. We're getting excited, and
I
it's
know,
a happy New
definitely.
Year to you and Ken, and
Thank you, and Happy New Year to all the geeks that are listening. I hope you have a great 2020. I can't believe it's 2022. My goodness.
All right. See you.
Take care. Bye-bye, geeks.
Great job, Judy, coming on with me and talking with the Traveling Tiaras. And now let's get on with reviewing the Universal Orlando with unofficial guide author Seth Kubersky. This is like the 3rd time I've had Seth come on. Awesome talking to him. We have a great conversation, and we got to get that update for Universal Orlando. We're going to answer all the geek questions that came in via our private Facebook group. I'm so glad that you guys asked your questions, and Seth does a great job answering them. We have great time-saving tips. We're talking about the Express Pass, resort reviews, all those charts and reviews and those reader comments that are in the book that are a great part of the Unofficial Guide books. We talk about character meet and greets, those top attractions and rides at Universal Orlando, and Islands of Adventure, the nighttime shows, a little bit about City Walk, and oh yeah, we talk about food too. It wouldn't be the Geekin' On WDW podcast without talking about some food. And I know Seth's a foodie too, and I love the Unofficial Guides to Disney World, Disneyland, and this week we're checking out Universal Orlando with Unofficial Guides author Seth Kubersky. Well, I love this time of year, and it's not just because it's Christmas season, although I do love Christmas, but it's when the unofficial guidebooks come out, and I'm really excited. We've been able to have this gentleman on a couple of times, and it's been a while, so I'm excited to bring him on. We're going to talk about Universal Orlando tonight, and then I've got some of our other authors. Well, you're going to come back, Seth, another time, do Disneyland, I think, for us, if you will. We'll do the big book too, but these books are really what helped my wife and I plan our trips to Orlando so many years ago when we went that first time. I think she still loves. I score a lot of points because Lillian, a good friend with the Unofficial Guides, she sends me these books, and I got a head start. They're only in the warehouse. They weren't even out yet. Get some points with the wife because she loves to read these cover to cover. Well, let's bring them on. Please give a warm Geekin' family welcome to Seth Kubersky. There's my audience going crazy for you, Seth.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a little while, so it's great to at least virtually see you again.
How have you been?
Good. It's been a weird couple of years, especially for people in the travel business, and it's been tough. Not as tough, obviously, as it's been for some other people. Thankfully, me and my family we're all healthy and still employed. So yay.
I'm glad to hear all of that. Yes.
It was really weird last year pushing out an edition of the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando right in the middle of the pandemic. The 2021 edition is one that I think I should send to the Smithsonian as a little time capsule of social distancing. But it was great being able to get the 2022 edition out more or less on our normal schedule, with a more or less normal theme park with a few asterisks in there. And to even, see things not just come back, but kind of approach and maybe even exceed the level they were at before the pandemic hit.
Nice.
With a great new ride to put on the cover of the book this year.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get into that. Yeah. And all of these things. If I didn't say, Seth is the author of the Universal Orlando 2022 book. How long have you been on the cover here as the author, Seth?
As long as we have had a Universal Orlando dedicated guidebook. I came on back about 12 editions ago on the Disneyland book first. Okay. And that's a whole long convoluted story.
We'll get into that.
Sure. But as for the Universal Orlando book, the first edition of that came out when Diagon Alley opened around 2014, and been putting out a new edition every year since.
Very good. Well, I'm going to get right into some questions. And Andy Hoffman, a good, fun friend of mine and listener. And I remember I actually, very early on in the podcast, I had the pleasure to, would I say he's your boss, Bob?
Absolutely. You can call him my boss. He is the founder of the Unofficial Guides. He created the very first one, not quite single-handedly, but pretty close, long before I came into the picture and before even Len Testa came along. It all started with Bob and his first unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, and the whole brand came from him.
How do you pronounce his last name? I say
Bob Selinger or Selinger, depending on whether you like hard G's or soft G's.
Sure. We had a great.
He won't complain either way.
I was early on in my podcast, and he gave me so many great accolades I was so nervous too when I first had him on. He was like a star to me, because we really do love these books. They're so fantastic. And I keep say it over and over again. There's so much information here. I love the way you guys do this with input from readers and the surveys that you do and all the science that goes into it. Well, Andy's question was, what inspired you guys to make these books? I kind of know the answer from Bob. Let me hear what your take is on that.
Yeah, I mean, Bob's got a great story about visiting Walt Disney World in its early decade with his kids who were young at the time, and having just a miserable experience because he just felt like he was always going in the wrong direction. He was always waiting in the wrong line. And he kind of figured there's got to be a better way than this. Decades after that, Len Testa came along, and he sort of had the same idea, but he was a computer scientist. Right. So he kind of applied his training to the problem and started coming up with digital tools, and the two of them teamed up. I kind of started the same place I think you did, as a fanboy of the series. Okay. I was a kid growing up in Jersey who only, my family was middle class, and we could afford a trip down to Florida once every 4 or 5 years if we were lucky. And in the in-between years, I would get the unofficial guide out of the local library, plan out imaginary trips to Disney that I knew I couldn't afford to take. That helped really inspire, my interest in the theme parks, my interest in travel writing. After I graduated college and moved down to Orlando in hopes of working for the theme parks, and then put in a few years at the theme parks, and we mutually decided it was time for me to move on from doing that. I got into writing about them on the internet in the early years of people's blogs and web forums, before social media.
I understand.
Jim Hill had a great website where he would share all sorts of rumors and history. And I just started out as a commenter on Jim Hill's website.
I love this story. Yeah.
And Jim introduced me to people who introduced me to other people, which ended up in me finally getting paid to write about theme parks. Nice. And I was at the grand opening of Hogsmeade, the first Wizarding World of Harry Potter, back in 2010. Bob was there also as media. I was just such a fan of his. I just wanted to have lunch with the guy because, I've been reading his books my whole life. And by the end of our sushi lunch, he had offered me a job.
That's so cool. Has it been that long?
That's how I got
2010 was Harry Potter.
Yeah, 2010 was the first Hogwarts. Yep.
Well, I love this story. This is
Time flies fast.
this is like our version of someone going out to Hollywood to be a star. It's like the theme park version. And I absolutely, I've gone on, talking to other people, going and talking to kids at schools or stuff about, my advice is always, if you have something you're interested in, especially something that's something we're interested in writing about, there's no barriers right now with the internet. There was a time when I was a kid, not everyone could publish a book, not everyone could get printed in the newspaper, but anyone, with social media and with free websites can get their opinion out there today. Yeah.
And it takes a long time. You're not going to, the majority of people don't go viral and become famous and get, tons of revenue off of their being an influencer, overnight. It doesn't work that way.
That's right.
If you put yourself out there consistently and you network and you talk to people who say that they like what you do and have them help you talk to other people that you're a fan of, that's how you build a career. It's one little encounter at a time.
I love this. We could go in a whole different direction,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I love
but
this.
let's talk about Universal.
We're going to do that. There's a lot of nice little quotes in the back of the book. And I know the answer to this question, but do you write each new edition from scratch?
Oh, heck no. I would die.
That would be quite an achievement.
In addition to Universal Orlando and some content for the Walt Disney World book, I also do the Disneyland book, and I do the Las Vegas guidebook.
That's right.
And if you tried to, the shortest of them, I believe, is the Universal one. This one was 398 pages.
Yeah.
If you tried to write 398 pages from scratch every year,
it's all the research and so much goes into it.
It's a reference book. It's like they don't rewrite the encyclopedia every year. They don't rewrite the dictionary every year. But what we do is we go through it with a fine-tooth comb every year to fact check it, to update it, to include anything that's new. We don't necessarily rewrite reviews just for the sake of rewriting it, but anytime things are changed, or anytime our opinion of something has changed, there's some times where something was the greatest ride ever 10 years ago, but even if it is exactly the same, the rest of the world has moved on, and you got to look at things in a new light.
Yeah.
So I would say each year, between 20 to 25% of the sentences there are changed or rewritten or updated in some way. In some years, like we have, when Volcano Bay came along, that was a whole new chapter of the book.
Right.
I guess the biggest change and then unchange in the book's history for the Universal book is, we put out a Walt Disney World book last year, but it came very, very late in the year, after a lot of things had already started changing back. The Universal book we put out, we wrote that within weeks of the park first reopening. And there was, an entire section of the book devoted to all the social distancing rules. By the time that book actually made it onto paper, a lot of those rules were being, rescinded. Yeah. So this year for the 2022 book, a whole chapter about COVID was reduced to a few pages and a bunch of notes about COVID, because what we've discovered is that no matter which side of the aisle you're on, you are tired of hearing about COVID now, and you didn't want to read a whole chapter about it first thing when opening your theme park book.
I didn't even include a question for you on this, but I was thinking before we got on, because I heard people talking. I haven't been to Universal in quite some time, but things are kind of back to normal. Seth?
I would say in
procedures now?
Universal, I was at Universal yesterday.
Yeah.
And the COVID procedure now has been reduced to a very nice lady with a British accent, occasionally announcing over the speakers, "We encourage you to follow CDC guidelines and wear a face mask wherever necessary."
Yeah.
But there's no clarification and certainly no sort of enforcement. Disney has still been enforcing face mask wearing while on rides and indoors.
Right.
But Universal, it's funny, Universal was the first out of the gate to reopen, the first out of the gate to impose all sorts of safety procedures. For a while, they were almost the strictest, and then they backtracked faster than anyone else. They were first out of the gate, and they were first back in. All right. I would say that unless you are, personally very aware of it, there's nothing that Universal is doing right now to make you super aware of it, other than the occasional bit of signage. You can sometimes find the remnants, a light spot on the pavement where a social distancing marker might once have been. Right. Those are the scars that we bear. But that's right. Yeah.
Well, like they said, it was a fluid situation, which makes it rough for you guys. And this is this question here from my good friend Glenn Kessler. He's curious about the challenges you guys encounter creating a printed guide when so many things change. Talk about the year to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely a huge challenge. I'd say in a good year, any guidebook author will tell you that, around 1% to 3% of whatever you write has probably changed by the time you hit send to go to the publisher. By the time the book actually makes its way on a slow boat across the ocean to our warehouses. Yeah. That's always been the nature of travel writing. And yes, in the pandemic, we had some editions that we put on hold or we canceled outright. We delayed all sorts of things, and there was lots of shuffling.
Yeah.
And I will say, every year I say Universal must have a spy that knows when my deadlines are and deliberately just randomly changes stuff, 24 hours after my deadline just to tease me.
I understand.
And the last couple of years have definitely been harder than that. Than others. The way we keep up with it, when you're writing a book, it's not the same as writing a blog or writing a social media feed, and you get a feeling over time for what are the things that are likely to be stable, and what are the things where you can tell guests, things are probably going to be this way, but keep an eye out in case they happen to be this way.
Yeah.
And then we also maintain our website at theunofficialguides.com, and also our social media feeds, put out monthly errata updates. I'm just working on the first one now.
Okay.
So, within a couple weeks of the book being on shelves, there'll be a web page on our website telling you in detail everything that's changed since then. And we keep up with that all throughout the year. And even, when the books are selling well, which thankfully they have been, and we're able to do a second printing or even a third printing through the year, we always go the extra mile to make any critical uptates to the
really?
book
Okay. So
that we can in the middle of the year. It's not easy to do, it is possible, and where it's important, we make sure we do it.
I think there's a lot of static content for sure, though.
Yeah. We also do have an ebook also, that the world of ebooks is weird. So you would think that an ebook, you'd be able to easily update it automatically online. And maybe there are ways of doing that, but it's a little above my pay grade. So you can get it on Kindle, and I think in the past we have had those updated, but I have a dream that we'll have a book that will always be perfectly up to date, and always on your e-device. We haven't quite reached that level of technology yet.
I know, you'd think we could by now.
Maybe, I'm sure there's a smart person out there who can figure it out, but that smart person is not me.
I like to get your point of view on all of these things, not just the black and white from the book, but how about this edition with what's been going on? What are you most proud of in this particular edition of the book?
Ooh,
or overall?
That's a tough one. I did put a good amount of effort into updating the touring plans in the back. That's kind of a signature thing of ours.
Right.
If you go online to touringplans.com, you have tools where you can create customized touring plans. That if you're an expert with the parks, you can very granularly figure out exactly what you're going to do during your day and tailor it just to your needs. But for the printed book, we kind of try to come up with an idealized touring plan that will fit, most people in most situations, and give, in most cases, a significant advantage over the general population. Figuring out how to hit Hagrid's and Velocicoaster efficiently in one day was, kind of confusing, especially since Universal's been through so many variations of different kind of line systems that they use. I'm pretty satisfied that if you follow the tips that we have, that you can experience both of those rides, plus all the other top things that Islands of Adventure has to offer in a single day.
All right, I want to get some examples of this, actually, because yes, you guys are known for the touring guides. They're so helpful. Yeah, especially for the beginner. Just follow these guides. I mean, so the very first question, you probably had this a million times, but we got to get it in there. How long do you got to spend in Universal Orlando to get the full experience?
There are some Brits who come over for 14 days and they spend every minute of it there and they love it.
Right.
There are other people who are like, oh, there's only 3 good rides in each park. You can do both parks in half a day. I don't think either extreme is really reasonable for most
I like
people.
balance myself. Yeah.
My thing is, if you only have one day that you can spend at Universal, don't try to do everything in one day. Either pick one park and see everything you can in that one park. Or if you are a Harry Potter super fan and your life is all about, getting that letter to Hogwarts, spring for the double pass, do all the Harry Potter stuff in both parks, maybe hit 1 or 2 things outside of it, immerse yourself in that. Great. I would say ideally, you want a full day for each park. And if you don't want to run yourself ragged, 4 days is really great. You can spend a morning or half a day at Volcano Bay. You can do early entry at one of the parks. You can sleep in one day, maybe enjoy City Walk. 4 days is a really good length. I would say more than 5 days and you're probably going to run out of stuff to do. That's probably why Universal kind of tops their tickets out at 5 days, whereas Disney, they'll happily sell you a 10-day ticket if you want.
No, I like this. I got a feeling that's grown a day. Have they added enough
Absolutely.
stuff?
I mean,
right? Since we
the addition of Volcano Bay absolutely made a huge difference. And if you are staying on site at the resorts, you can easily make a day out of staying at Cabana Bay. I've made whole staycations out of just going to Volcano Bay, bowling in the bowling alley, sitting in a tube in the lazy river. That is definitely pool hopping at Universal can consume a day out of your vacation, no problem.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to keep on this touring theme. So newbie, some tips for touring. How do you beat the crowds?
Yeah.
At Universal.
The good news is that the crowds at Universal just don't feel as bad as a bad day at Disney.
Okay, good.
Disney has put in a lot of things to barriers to try to keep you away from the park. You've got to get a park reservation. You got to decide if you're spending money on Genie Plus. You got all sorts of hoops to jump through. Universal, you don't have to worry about booking a park reservation. But if you're going at a busy time of year, you got to get there early. The best way to do that is to stay on site. Yep. And if you stay at any of their hotels that they own, which includes the Endless Summer Resort, which is usually less than $100 a night. Wow. It's way cheaper than anything on Disney property. It's cheaper than a lot of the, mid-range chain hotels that you'll find on iDrive. Nice. It's really hard to justify not staying on Universal property with rates that low. And that gets you into one or both of the parks an hour before the rest of the crowd.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It varies depending on the season, and you got to check with Universal's website on their calendar to see which park is doing early entry on any given day. But the key is it's nice to have when it's over at Universal Studios Florida, because you get to explore Diagon Alley early. And it's a good time to do the Ollivander's wand shop and play with all the windows. But it's almost essential if you can beat the crowd with early entry rope drop, and you can do Hagrid's at Islands of Adventure. That is still, even with Velocicoaster opening right next door, Hagrid's is still the biggest draw. It still gets the longest lines. And if you are willing to be awake early and hit that line right at rope drop, you can be off of that. You can hit that. You can hit Forbidden Journey. You can maybe even get a lap on Hippogriff, and you can be in the queue for Velocicoaster before anyone who doesn't have early entry is in the park.
Do you split up if you're going for 2 days? Do you split up your Harry Potter experience, or do you try to do it all together?
Yeah,
does it matter?
I would say it depends on the season. If if you have the possibility of doing early entry at both parks, then I would do early entry in one and then the other at the other.
Yep.
If you're doing 2 days and you only get early entry in one of the parks, I would definitely do early entry at least once, and then consider, like, if it's a time where one of the parks is open later, especially if they're doing the nighttime spectacular, the cinematic celebration at Universal Studios Florida, consider sleeping in maybe. And then the Wizarding Worlds are really great first thing during early entry, and then they become really miserable towards the end of early entry, right about when the park opens to the general public.
Okay.
But then they're great again from about 5 o'clock until close.
Okay.
And they're wonderful after dark. So I would make sure that you see it daytime, but you also get to spend some time there at night.
Awesome.
We do account for that. We in our multi-day plans. To be able to see both of those after dark.
I know your touring plans have all kinds of different scenarios. Pick what fits you guys the most, right?
Yeah, well, these are kind of like the most popular situations. We could probably go on for 100 pages worth of touring plans, and there's a bunch of, like I said, customizable ones available online. But for the book, we focus on plans for adults and groups where everyone is willing and able to do most of the rides. We also have plans specific for families with young children who are below the, kind of 48-inch height requirement for most rides, and plans for seniors and people with physical limitations where they don't want to ride anything that is too physical or stressful. And we also split up our plans between, 1-day plans for people who are just there as a day guest, and also multi-day plans if you have a park hopper that incorporate taking the Hogwarts Express back and forth between the two parks.
Amazing. Fantastic. All right. Switching gears from the plans, my good pal Daniel Ginger asked, for a first time at Universal, what are the top 5 or 10 must do's? And I love on this cover, like you said, this new attraction, Jurassic World. How do you say it? Velocicoaster.
Velocicoaster.
That's got to be a must do.
Because when you combine a Velociraptor and a roller coaster, you get a Velocicoaster. And you know what? That is definitely on my top 5. Not necessarily. It is maybe. It's probably become my favorite roller coaster at Universal, but I go back and forth between it and Hagrid's. I would say my number one thing at Universal overall, it just has to be the Wizarding World. Sure. Even if you have no real interest in the books, you haven't really seen the movies, you don't know what it's all about. It's so beautifully designed. It is such an immersive experience. There's so much detail. There's so many cool, quirky things that even if you don't know where they come from, they're just interesting to look at. And their signature rides are 3 of the best of their kind anywhere in the world.
Wow.
The Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is a dark ride inside Hogwarts Castle that uses a Kuka Robo arm. There's still hardly anything like it on Earth, even after a dozen years.
Yeah.
The Gringotts ride inside the bank in Diagon Alley over at Universal Studios Florida is like a cross between a 3D simulator and a roller coaster. It's not as terrifying as the Forbidden Journey ride. It's a lot more accessible, and it's a lot of fun. And then I kind of think that right now the king of the heap is Hagrid's, which is the motorcycle roller coaster, which goes forwards and backwards and does all sorts of things that you never expect a roller coaster to do. And it has animatronics, it has theme and story and music, and it's kind of everything in one perfect package.
Nice.
And, I really think that if you went to Universal, you only did the Harry Potter stuff, would be a shame because there's a lot of other amazing stuff there. But if you only did that, you could get your money's worth. Oh,
you're selling me. My kids read all the books. My wife's a big fan. They watched all the movies, and guess you're almost describing me. Like maybe if I went I
enjoy
it.
Even if you go in cold and you don't know anything about the IP, pretend to, back in the day, people went on Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, and they didn't know the IP, and they, enjoyed it just as much. So pretend it's an original.
I'm not surprised. I think I would be sold. I'd have to come back and read the books.
No, I mean, it will definitely inspire you to want to learn more about it. So that's maybe my top one, or maybe that's 1 and 2, Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade. But I would say if you are a roller coaster fanatic, the coasters at Universal, SeaWorld has some fantastic roller coasters, but it doesn't have the theming, it doesn't have the storytelling, and it doesn't have the breadth and depth. Disney's got some rides that they call roller coasters, but they're basically little wild mouse coasters in a box, and they're cute, they're fine, they're little mine trains, they're fine for the tweens, but if you're a grown-up and you like thrill rides, Universal's the place. And Velocicoaster, we can talk more about what makes that ride special, but
go for it.
It is one that it's a destination ride. Like, people who go around the world and ride coasters, maybe they don't all say it's number 1, but they'll put it in their top 10 easily. It is amazingly smooth. It does not rattle you around. It does not jar you. It does not beat up your head. It doesn't even have shoulder restraints to give you a bruised neck. It's just the world's most comfortable lap bar that holds you securely in your seat, but lets your butt fly out of your seat.
Oh, all right.
For pretty much most of the ride. If you like ejector airtime, if you know what that is, if you know about negative G forces, that is what Velocicoaster is all about. And it starts fast and tight and low to the ground with lots of head choppers and rock work, and then it accelerates into a top hat where you feel like you can touch heaven, and then a series of inversions and maneuvers like you will not experience on any other coaster. There are other coasters, we say in the book, there are other coasters that have some of these individual elements, but none of them pack them all together with such perfect pacing. Wow. There is a signature roll at the end called a Mosasaurus roll that will you will see your life flash before your eyes in a good way. It's one of those few rides that you can wait an hour for and immediately want to turn around and jump right back into line. And the best part is that the operations team from day one has been killing it. Hagrid's had a lot of technical issues, which they have mostly smoothed out, but Velocicoaster, they keep those trains running. They really have done a beautiful job of making keeping the lines short. When you see queues for some of the top rides at Disney, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then you see Velocicoaster, at most an hour and a quarter. It's a good feeling.
I noticed in the big book for Disney World that you guys have a chart there of the downtime for some of the Disney rides.
Every ride experiences downtime. It happens. These are technologically advanced.
Right.
But I will say that Universal, over the last several months, certainly since Velocicoaster opened, has really shown us concerted effort to try to keep stuff running as smoothly as possible, and I think it's shown. I think it's definitely evident as a guess.
How were the rides I remember from back when I went, like the Hulk and the Spider-Man ride? They're all still there, right?
Yeah, I would say number three. I would say number 3 reason to visit Universal. Keep coming back to Islands of Adventure. If you want really good Marvel superhero attractions, do not go to Avengers Campus in Disneyland.
Wow.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy ride is great, but if you want the world's best Spider-Man ride, there's only one place. You got to go to Universal, either in Japan or you got to go to Florida.
It's been there a long time. I know, it's so amazing when I went there.
It's Spider-Man. They just celebrated its creation at IAPA. They had a Legends panel reuniting the people who worked on it. It's over 20 years old, and it is still just as good as ever. It's still, Transformers is also a great ride. That's right next door in Universal Studios Florida. Uses a lot of the same technology, but Spider-Man is still the tops, still the best. And the Hulk roller coaster, it got a complete rebuild back in 2015. I won't call it smooth, but it's a powerful ride.
Yeah.
It's been a little overshadowed by Velocicoaster and Hagrid's, which means that you don't have to wait quite as long to ride it. And it's still, it's still got that killer launch. There's nothing like that launch. And, hopping over to the other park, you talk about the classics. A lot of the classics are gone. No more Jaws, no more. There's a King Kong ride, but it's not the classic King Kong ride anymore. Even Earthquake had to make way for Fast and Furious, which is the one thing we probably shouldn't talk about this if we want to talk about good things at Universal. But there's still a lot of classics at Universal. There is still the ET ride. I just rode that the other day. They just brought back the passports so ET can mangle your name once again. The horror makeup show that has been running for over 20 years and is still, in my book, the funniest show in any theme park.
I was going to ask you some of your favorite shows, because even in both parks, I don't know if there's a show. Yeah, I love the animal show. They still have an animal.
The animal actor show is still going strong. They had to cut some of the audience participation during social distancing, but the birds are still there. The dogs are still there.
Oh, I love it.
It's still a lot of fun. They brought out a new show during the pandemic. They not only reopened the park, but they're like, we're open a brand new show. The Bourne Stuntacular replaced the Terminator 3D show, which has a special place in my heart. I worked on that show. I missed that show, but I got to say, Bourne is even better. It's got absolutely amazing screen technology. It's got this huge wall that turns into a video screen, and it is so sharp and realistic. You can't tell where the set is and where the video ends.
Amazing.
Fantastic stunts, gunfire, explosions, everything you want in a theme park show. Yeah, I would say that, and I'm a big fan of Celestina Warbeck. She does a song and dance show in Diagon Alley. It was written by some composers who do Broadway shows and do shows for Disney, and it's just a charming performance, and you can catch it in the Carpet Market stage at Diagon Alley.
Fantastic. I love this stuff. All right.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go all over the place because there's so much to cover, but can you give us some more advice on time savers? Like, well, they have mobile ordering, and we're talking about getting on do they do the virtual lines kind of things, or is there anything else?
Yeah. Okay. So Universal has not gone all in on technology the same way that Disney has. Okay. Disney, you pretty much have to use their app or you're just lost there. Yep. Universal, there was a time during the pandemic where mobile ordering became mandatory, and the system kind of overloaded and crashed and burned with too many people using it. It went away entirely, and it's back. I used it the other day. I'm going to give you a tip for using the mobile ordering. It does work, but it's deceptive. You can place your order for food. It tells you, okay, let us know when you're ready for us to make the food. And then it says, okay, we'll tell you when to come up and get your food. As soon as you make your order, you tell it you're ready for your food, go and find an employee and tell them, hey, I'm using mobile ordering, because otherwise your food will either not be prepared or it will be sitting back there getting cold, and no one will let you know. It's definitely not as seamless as Disney's system, but it does work. It especially works well at Voodoo Donuts. They actually built a whole little shop outside of the Voodoo Donut shop where you can pick up your mobile ordering without having to wait in the big line outside. That is one place where I do highly recommend using it. Virtual line is something that Universal goes back and forth with testing it. They have an explanation of it in the app, but even the feature in the app is not being used at the moment. The app just redirects you to go to their website, which is vltest.universalorlando.com.
Okay.
If it's in use, you'll see a sign outside the attractions where it's being used.
Okay.
Basically, it works a little like Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, except it's free if it's available. When it works for Hagrid's, basically you'll say you want to join the line, and it'll give you an estimate of how long before you come back. But that estimated time can change. It can shorten or lengthen depending on how the ride is running. So it has only been used on very busy days. For the most part, unless the wait is well over an hour, they're not even going to bother with it. And it's only been used at Hagrid's and occasionally at Revenge of the Mummy. Your best bet, especially with Hagrid's, is to try to ride it either first thing during early entry, if early entry is available, or right at rope top if they're not doing early entry in that park. There's also often a dip in the wait time right around noon, where you can jump into line with less than an hour wait. Otherwise, wait until the end of the night, and they always turn the virtual line thing off towards the end of the night. You can try using the virtual line system, but if the virtual line system is in use, it means that when you come back, you'll probably still stand in a physical line for like an hour.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Not unlike the virtual line that they used for... they use it for Ratatouille in Walt Disney World, and they use for the Spider-Man ride in California Adventure.
That's true. I almost waited for Ratatouille. Went in October. It was about a 45-minute line.
45 minutes. Yeah, that's typical. If you use your virtual return. Yeah, it's very similar.
So then I'm wondering, my next question was about the Express Pass at Universal. Is that?
Yeah.
That's a paid version, right? To get
so if you want to break it down in terms of dollars per minute saved, it's probably not worth it paying out of pocket, especially the unlimited Express Pass for both parks. On a peak day, the Express Pass can be more than the admission to the parks.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you can be talking hundreds of dollars for unlimited use. Now, it's a lot more useful than Lightning Lane or Genie Plus at Disney. You don't have to have a reserved time. You don't have to, decide in advance what you want to do or when you want to go. You don't have to just use it once. If you have the unlimited, you can do it as many times as you want. But you're spending a lot more money on it. So just buying Express outright is maybe not worth it, but staying at one of the 3 on-site hotels that comes with Unlimited Express is totally worth it.
The way to go, yeah.
Like if you have 4 people in your party and if you stay one night in the hotel room, you get Express the day you check in, and you get it on the day you check out. So that's 8 Express passes for the price of one night in the hotel room. You can save a huge amount of money that way.
I've always heard that's the way to go. My wife is a travel agent that does Universal too, so she's always says the same thing for sure. And this kind of gets into, so I love the charts you guys do. So I wanted to pick a chart, and I'm going to pick on page 117 if you're following along.
Oh boy.
The 30 best hotel values.
I am not a mathematician, but what we do to come up with this, all the hotels that we list in the book, we have a formula that we use to rate them and rank them based on data that we have on the hotel rooms and inspections that we do of them. And then we have a formula that basically divides the rating by the price and comes up with a best value. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean the best hotel room. Like there's an extended stay, the in-town suites extended stay. I have visited it. It is not a particularly pleasant place to stay. You see the room quality. It is a 2.5 star, 63 out of 100. It is not somewhere where I would personally want to stay an extended time for myself with my family. However, if you are not bothered by staying in a 2.5 star hotel, there is nothing cheaper within a 20-mile radius of Universal. Right. So value is, there are expensive things that are a very good value. I'm trying to pick one out here.
Look at the number one was Hawthorne Suites.
Yeah. Well, that's a solid, it's a chain. It's dependable. And it is right around $100. And finding $100 hotel room in the Orlando area has gotten really hard to do. Sure. It used to be that there were a lot of $35, $40, $45 hotel rooms. First the 2008 crisis came and took out a lot of the low end stock. And then, the 2018 pandemic killed off, the 2020 pandemic killed off, a lot of what was left. So it has become increasingly hard to find, stuff that is worth staying in on that lower end. But, we say explicitly the hotel value chart is a good place to start, look at those, get an idea of what the relative value is, but then, never book a hotel room based solely on a single number. We provide the websites and information so you can look up and see the reviews, see other people's opinions, see some photographs before making your decision. Don't base it solely on a price value proposition.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know, the Universal resorts are pretty fantastic, and they're pretty much like walking distance, right? And
that's a big thing for me. I like the Disneyland Resort way better than the Walt Disney World Resort for one reason, that I don't have to spend time in a car or on a bus. I can walk right from my hotel or my motel room door right to the park gates, and you can do that same thing at Universal. You can't do that unless maybe you're staying at the boardwalk and you're walking into Epcot, or with very rare exceptions, you can't do that at Disney. So Universal, just the ease of use, the idea of a vacation where you're not constantly parking and reparking your car or waiting on a bus to show up and take you somewhere. Even if you are using the buses at Universal, they're a million times better than the buses at Disney, because every time I've been at like Endless Summer, which is the furthest away, it's like 6 minutes to get to the security checkpoint. And there's always seems to be a bus waiting for you.
Yep. Very good. All right. This is just stuck in the middle here, but I wanted to ask about characters, because I know the audience loves character meets, and you got so many different kinds of characters. So I don't even know. What do you think are some of the best character meets? And I know they've got the Marvel license. I'm confused if you can explain the Universal Disney
You can actually, if you Google Securities and Exchange Commission Universal Marvel Agreement, and you can actually read it.
There you go.
And basically, unless Universal does something really egregious, like have Spider-Man run around naked, Disney cannot take the rights back. Disney cannot cancel the rights back. Disney can offer to buy the rights back, to which Universal can say, nah.
It's a little bit of a mixed bag then.
Universal has the rights east of the Mississippi for all of the significant Marvel characters, from the X-Men, from the Avengers, from all of Fantastic Four, all those associated groups. About the only thing that they don't have is the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the reason why you see Guardians of the Galaxy going into Epcot. Everything else is exclusive to Universal, and Universal also has the, I believe, worldwide rights to use the word Marvel. So you will notice that in California Adventure, it is Avengers Campus, and they have the superheroes, but they will never call it the Marvel Avengers Campus.
Gotcha. It is complicated.
So yeah, it is very complicated, but it basically, Universal got Marvel when Marvel was at its absolute lowest point.
Sure.
In the 90s, when Marvel nearly went bankrupt and out of business, and would sell stuff off for nothing.
Right.
And Universal got a great deal.
Yeah, I guess so. Gosh,
but they're so you can meet the Marvel characters, and their costumes are not like from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They look a lot more like the 90s cartoons. But okay.
Yeah.
You've got over in the other park, you've got the Transformers, which are these amazing, spoiler alert, they're people on stilts, but they're these costumes that really do look like robots in disguise, and they've got voice clips from the original actors so they can communicate with the guests. And they installed this thing called Destination DreamWorks. There used to be a Barney the Purple Dinosaur show that is extinct. Sorry, Barney. But they've turned that into like a meet and greet hub that's like an ongoing dance party where you can meet characters from Trolls, from Madagascar, from Shrek, and
SpongeBob's still there?
SpongeBob does still appear in the parade, and he's got his own store, and he does meet and greets at his store.
All right, that's back in my day.
The Simpsons are still around too.
Nice.
They hang out. Every once in a while, you can catch my favorite meet and greet, which is Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He hangs out by his DeLorean.
Very cool. The Blues Brothers, I remember, used to do a dance.
Blues Brothers are still performing their show.
No kidding.
Yep. They even do a special holiday version of the show. Awesome. Where they do Santa Claus is coming to town, and they decorate a little Christmas tree with beer cans and empty cigarette cartons. It's touching.
Well, one of the things you guys do a really good job is getting input from your readers, and I just wanted to pick something. And I know I think you have already said to me before, this Volcano Bay water park.
Oh yeah,
you're pretty high on that one, right?
I am not a getting in the water person. I have a pool that I get into maybe twice a year. Yeah. I just came back from a cruise, and I never got in the pool on the cruise the whole time. But Volcano Bay, I will go swimming at Volcano Bay. I'll put on my rash guard and my bathing shorts, and I will go to Volcano Bay.
It's an experience, right? Because of all the rides and
it's got great rides, but what I love about it is just the atmosphere. It's just a relaxing place.
So a family from Grafton, Massachusetts shared their feelings. We all agreed it's the best water park we've ever been to. The variety of the activities, the park layout, the food, everything was wonderful. The early issues with Tapu seem to have been ironed out. The system worked great both days we were there. So I think it's the best water park.
So it had a rough launch. Like, you can still find TripAdvisor reviews from back when the park opened, just blasting it because, they thought they'd get rid of the idea of standing in a long line by giving everyone a wristband that was basically a little electronic watch that you'd tap in, and it would say, okay, come back to this ride in an hour and you'll get right on. And it was great in theory, because the idea was that instead of standing in line for an hour for a water slide, you would go hang out on the beach, or you would go in the lazy river for an hour and then just come on. The problem is, when the park first opened, they didn't know how many people an hour they could realistically put through each slide. They didn't know, how many people were really going to come back and redeem their times. They based everything on theory, and it took them way too long to make their calculations match reality. Fast forward to today. There are still occasional times where, especially on a really busy day, where some of the popular slides will sell out for the day. But for the most part, it just spreads out the demand throughout the day. It makes for a much nicer experience. It basically works the way it was supposed to work finally.
Nice.
It's it's really, when I go there, especially if I'm staying on property and you get early entry like you do to the other parks, I'll hit all the rides, the slides real quick. But then I just, find a chair or, you can rent a little cabana and just, sack out with a drink. They have really good cocktails. They even brew their own special beer just for them. They've got great food.
You're talking my language now.
It is a great way if you are in the midst of, being a theme park commando and, I got to check off all the rides in the parks. Take half a day out of your vacation and just chill and unwind. And it's such a nice break.
I really liked your 4-day plan. You got me sold. And I always loved the water parks when I was a kid. I tell you, the kids today that get a chance to go to these places, I'm so jealous, right?
And Disney, they've got 2 water parks, but only one of them is open right now. They have not reopened Typhoon Lagoon, I believe. And, to me, especially Blizzard Beach, it's got some great slides. It's got some very imaginative theming, but it's literally and physically cold and hard. And it feels like a theme park full of water slides, whereas Volcano Bay feels like a themed water park in terms of being oriented towards more relaxation and more just enjoying the atmosphere.
That is cool. So mom and dad
Plus it's
can
got
enjoy
a couple
it.
Great lazy rivers.
That's
Lazy river. And for
That's
me, like, my favorite, this is my favorite theme water park on the East Coast, easily, without a doubt. Probably my favorite anywhere that I've been is Atlantis in the Bahamas, because they have a lazy river that pretty much goes on forever.
Nice.
I'm all about the lazy river.
The older I get, I'm with you there too, Seth. All right, let's talk one of our favorite topics on the podcast, and I know it's one of yours. I think you're a foodie. So,
I can't quite afford to be a foodie, but I'll eat.
You got to catch me up on anything new menu items, some dining options. We haven't talked about City Walk at all, which that's where you're going to go to get some good food.
City Walk has seen the most changes over the last few years. Toothsome made a big impact when it came in. To be honest, I like Toothsome a lot, but it is always so busy. They never seem to be able to handle the crowds that they get. You can finally make reservations in advance there, which you didn't used to be able to do. But, if you're going to eat there, have patience, be prepared to wait.
What kind of place is that?
Toothsome Chocolate Foundry and Emporium. I forget. Okay. It's got a long, complicated name that absolutely does not infringe upon the Willy Wonka trademark. 100%, not at all. It is a steampunk chocolate themed restaurant with not everything, but many things there are made with chocolate. It's got a very elaborate theming inside. They make these giant milkshakes and they have walk around characters and projections. And it is a lot of fun, but it gets very crowded. My favorite recent addition to City Walk is Big Fire, which replaced Emeril's, which was a great restaurant. But Big Fire is a little more reasonably priced than it. Emeril's was kind of top dollar. Big Fire is a little more affordable. It's they specialize in steaks and other grilled meats and fishes. They grill stuff on an open flame. Little pricier than Outback, but better quality. Some great cocktails if you like good bourbon.
I do.
A nice open look to the place, a great place for, when you want something a little nicer than the Bubba Gump or the Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville, but not quite white tablecloths. It's a really good compromise.
I like that. Although I do like Margaritaville.
Margaritaville has its place, but sometimes you don't want, just the loud and the greasy food. Everything in Margaritaville is covered in nacho cheese. So sometimes you want a nice grilled ribeye.
Yes, right. And you don't need reservations most of the time?
Back in the day, you hardly ever needed reservations for Universal. They've become, since the pandemic, maybe because staffing is more limited, it's harder for them to serve as many people. I found it's become increasingly helpful to book a table service. You don't need to do it months in advance like you do at Disney. Everything at Universal is either on OpenTable or Zomato. Mm-hmm. And if you go to Universal's website, they have a page devoted to all of their restaurants that gives you the link to make an online reservation. Okay. And the nice thing is you can usually make an online reservation, within 24 hours, and you don't have any penalty for cancellations or missing your reservation, unlike Disney, which will charge you if you miss one.
Nice.
Yeah. So I love, especially when I'm in the parks, having a lunch at a Lombard's, the seafood restaurant in the studios, or Mythos in Islands of Adventure, because you get to sit down in air conditioning. You have a break in the middle of your day. You have someone to wait on you, instead of standing in line and holding a tray. Mm-hmm. And it's the sit down restaurants inside the park especially are not that much more expensive. You pay $12 for a burger at quick service, you pay $14 sit down. So for $2 extra, it's worth it for better quality food.
I think years
and
ago,
a better experience.
Did they even have sit-down restaurants in Universal?
I mean, they've always had at least two in each restaurant. Okay. The Studios has Lombard's, which specializes in seafood. They have a really good lobster bisque.
Yummy.
The fried fish is really good too. And they've got Finnegan's, which is like an Irish pub. They have this potato web. It's like it's like a bloomin' onion except with potato. Oh, it's amazing.
I like that.
And then, Islands of Adventure has Mythos, which has been named many times the best theme park restaurant in the world. I wouldn't go quite that far, but it's a good one.
Okay.
And they've also got Confisco, which is totally overlooked. And they've got everything from pad thai and pho noodle bowls to fajitas. And there's like something for everyone there.
So the food here at Universal Orlando is right up there with any place.
I would say, right? It has greatly improved. Disney still, with their top end hotels, have, some restaurants like the California Grill, which is still hard to compete with. Okay. But Universal's hotels, like if you like Italian food, Biche or Mama Della's in Portofino, both fantastic. The kitchen at the Hard Rock is also really good. But, the high end, Disney's still got an advantage there. Okay. But the average restaurant at Universal has improved greatly. And one thing that Universal has done especially well is adding more vegan options to all the restaurants in the parks, quick service, sit down, wherever. Okay. Pretty much everywhere now you can find vegan protein entrees.
Or vegetarian, for that matter.
Really big improvement over the last few years.
How about the quick service, Seth? How's the quality there?
You know what? Disney's quick service, I feel their portions and quality has gone down over the years. Disney does a lot of stuff that is made for Instagram. They do a lot of special cupcakes or whatever that's meant for you to take a photograph of it, take one bite, and then throw it right away. Universal's food, it doesn't get as much attention, but it tastes really good. And they've come up with some really creative additions in the last few years. Today Cafe at the front of Universal Studios has really good sandwiches and salads. And they've got a crepe restaurant, like a crepe stand over in Central Park that's rotating seasonally. Some really good stuff. Big underappreciated, overlooked place in Jurassic Park called Thunderfall Terrace. They have slow roasted pork, turkey legs, and rice and bean bowls, South American cuisine, really well prepared, well seasoned. I never ever thought I would say this, forever, the worst quick service restaurant in all of Orlando was Comic Strip Cafe in Toon Lagoon, Islands of Adventure. It had the worst Chinese food. Like it was just like China was literally going to go to war with us over us them calling this Chinese food. They got rid of their entire menu. Now they serve arepas with pulled pork and different kinds of toppings. Noodle bowls. I had a tonkatsu ramen with pork belly that was actually really good.
Yeah, there
like
you go.
It had a hard-boiled egg in it and everything. It was like a real tonkatsu ramen. I never thought I would have that at Universal, much less in Toon Lagoon.
You got to believe they obviously read the reviews of social media or whatever.
Not fast enough. It took them way too long to do that. I mean, for years, people have been saying this is the worst food ever. Fast and Furious still exists, so they can't read all their reviews.
Some things are harder to change, I suppose, but the menu, someone's got to take it on the chin.
Steve Jason, he's been the top executive chef over there for many years. Done really great job, and also should get credit for during their seasonal events, during Mardi Gras, during Halloween. They're now putting out more and more food stands. It's not quite the Epcot Food Festival, but they're getting there. Okay. They had some really great stuff and very reasonable prices. Especially last Mardi Gras, I think they must have done the math wrong because they were selling these lanyards where you could get pre-purchase food samples, and it worked out to something ridiculous like $4 a beer. There's nowhere where you can get a $4 beer at a theme park.
No, or a big city. We went into New York City recently, or you go to any big city in this country. They're just as expensive as going to the theme parks. So
Yep.
For sure. And you just mentioned, I'm going to finish up with this. Do you have a favorite seasonal event? That Mardi Gras sounds pretty fun.
It's like trying to pick your children.
Is it?
Good. I love the holiday event that's going on right now. I was just there last night. I got to see the Christmas show on the Hogwarts Castle, which is great, and the decorations they do this year. They really pulled out the stops with more characters, walk around Christmas characters from the Macy's parade. They've even got a walk around Earl the Squirrel, which is this cult figure. Universal years and years ago, there was an actual squirrel who used to steal the light bulbs out of the Christmas tree, and they immortalized him as a little animatronic squirrel. Now he's blown up. He's got his own merch. He's got a meet and greet character. Squirrel is having a big year.
I love that.
But I was a supervisor for the Mardi Gras parade, so I still have that Mardi Gras music stuck in my head. I can still taste those hurricanes.
You're saying that like's a bad thing.
Oh, when you hear Iko Iko over and over again.
I like that song. Well, maybe if I heard it over and over again. Yeah, I could understand.
I started out at Universal. My first special event ever working there was Halloween Horror Nights, and I've been every single year.
Yeah.
This year was the big 30th, and personally, I actually only went once this year because Universal success has spawned so many more Halloween events in Orlando. It used to be the only thing going, and now we have like a dozen different big Halloween events in the area. So I don't go and hang out at Halloween Horror Nights night after night like I used to back in the day. But it was still, it was great seeing Jack the Clown make a comeback. I still love that smell of the haunted houses.
Well,
you can see I'm wearing my Halloween Horror Nights 25 shirt.
I know, that's so
got that
popular.
one on discount. Got that one on clearance after the event. Never pay full price for your Halloween merch because it'll always be 50% off on November 1st.
Those are so popular. Even up here in Connecticut, the little theme park up here, they do those Halloween nights. They're really popular. They make money. Some of them for charity and stuff too. Yeah.
Yep. People love being scared.
Exactly. And then, well, I was just thinking this last question. What do they have for the nighttime shows?
Oh, yeah. Disney is really well known for the Harmonious show that they opened at Epcot. And they've got the big fireworks at the Magic Kingdom. The deal is that Universal is literally bordered by a residential neighborhood on one side and high school on the other. So it's a little difficult for them to shoot off major fireworks
every night.
What they do most nights during busier seasons, they have at Universal Studios Florida the Cinematic Celebration, which is it's kind of like a baby world of color. It is a mixture of fountains and mist screens with projections and lasers and a little bit of pyrotechnics, just enough pyro. And it, includes appearances from Harry Potter and Shrek and the Minions and the Trolls and, all sorts of characters featured at the Universal parks, all in one big nighttime show. And that one's a lot of fun. And, you don't need a ticket or anything to see it. They just open up the Central Park area and it's terraced viewing. It's easy to get a good spot for that. Over at the other park at Islands of Adventure, they have a seasonal show that right now they're running the Christmas version. It's projection mapping on Hogwarts Castle. They do a Christmas version, there's a Halloween version, and there's a summertime version.
Yeah.
And the tricky part in that is the viewing area in front of the castle is not that big. And so they don't start the show until around sunset, and then it runs every 20 minutes.
Okay.
And so you'll see a crowd of people basically filling up the area waiting to get in. You can lose a lot of time doing that. So here's a trick. Don't tell anyone. This is exactly what I did last night. They've got one side to wait if you want to wait to watch the show, but they've got another side if you just want to go and ride the Forbidden Journey ride. Okay. So you can just walk up like you're walking to the Forbidden Journey ride, and you can go on the ride if you want, come out the exit, or just walk past the ride. And there's a whole open area where stroller parking is, where you can find a bench, and it's not as great a view of the show, but it's a lot better than sitting in a crowd for 20 minutes waiting your turn.
Well, I won't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone. Don't put that on a podcast or anything.
It's just between you and I, Seth. And hey, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun. It's a lot better than the great unpleasantness we've had over the last 18 months or so.
Yes, it is nice to talk about people getting back to theme parks and hopefully getting back to buying books about theme parks.
Exactly. Well, I'll finish with one of our listeners, Heather Marie Tyson, says she's so happy that you still publish the books, and she loves to buy every edition and read them front to back. I think that is something that you all should do. And Seth, where can everyone find you and online, and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and I appreciate. But reading it front to back is so much easier than reading it back to front, unless you're reading paper, I guess.
Go to the parts you got to know for your trip too.
So you feel free to skip around. Really, there's an index, there's a table of content. Yes. I won't feel bad if you don't read every word. Trust me.
There's great stuff in the back of the book too. There's just there's lots of great nuggets.
Well, if you want to read some great nuggets for yourself, you can head over to theunofficialguides.com, and we have a store there where you can order it direct from us. And we've also got a Twitter account at the UG Series, and also accounts on Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook at the Unofficial Guides. So that's the best way of keeping up with us.
Hey, before we leave, you said you were on a cruise.
Oh, that's a whole nother episode. We were on the MSC Mervilia out of Port Canaveral. It was recently repositioned there from Miami, traded places with the MSC Divina, which we had just been on about 2 weeks before that. And we enjoyed both ships, but the Mervilia is far, far nicer. I highly recommend it.
Who runs that one?
MSC. It is a cruise company that is based in Italy. They're better known in Europe, but they have been trying to break into the Central Florida market with insanely cheap cruises.
Oh,
so
did you just for fun or for work?
We actually, the first one was for work and the second one was for fun.
So you're writing about
the first one so much. No, I had written around the earlier one. I did a newspaper article about my first trip, and we enjoyed it enough to pay to go back on the second one.
Oh wow, I'm so glad I'm so glad
it's very rare that I pay to do something a second time. Very rare.
Yeah, right. People love the cruises. I just was talking to a coworker who has been on a Disney cruise recently. So good.
Well, I will say that, the CDC a little while back released statistics on how many people had cruised and how many people had tested positive with COVID while on a cruise. And statistically speaking, a cruise ship is the safest place on Earth you could probably be right now from COVID.
I think I heard that. That's good to hear.
Because, we had to be vaccinated and tested within 48 hours before boarding the ship. Right. Everyone had to. So
and they're cleaning like crazy. They're used to that, right?
Yes, the sanitation was impeccable. The mask wearing was very consistent, and it was about the safest I've felt in a while.
Awesome.
Definitely better than visiting your average, beach town on the shore where no one is following any rules.
Well, have a great holiday, and I'd really love to have you come back because I know
it'd be my pleasure. We've got Disneyland and Walt Disney World and maybe Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We'll talk about anything.
Yeah. Disneyland.
We'll talk about anything.
Lillian sent me the Disneyland book, so I'm going to definitely catch you up, get you on that. We'll maybe after the holiday here, we'll get you back on. We'll cover Disneyland next.
I would love to do that.
Thanks, Seth.
It's been a pleasure.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Oh my gosh, it's January 2022. You know what that means? The Grand Geekin' Gathering is less than 30 days away. I'm going to be there in January 31st through into February, like the February 9th. And we are so excited. You can hear Kevin Curtis Allen is coming. It's so exciting. We got so many people coming. A lot of excitement happening on our private Facebook group. We got a private Facebook group just for the Grand Geekin' Gathering. I see lots of plans. We got to get serious now. It's getting down to those last few days. We got Christmas behind us, New Year's behind us, and now it's fun. I had some vacation time. I had a great time on vacation, just relaxing, spending time with the family, Christmas and New Year's, and now this is so cool. I've got a big trip planned for February, and all of my friends coming down to see us. It's so awesome. So look for us, especially that weekend, February 3rd through the 6th, like Kevin said. February 3rd, Animal Kingdom. Friday, we'll be in Magic Kingdom, February 4th. Saturday, the big picture, meeting and hanging out in Epcot, that World Showcase time. And Sunday we'll be in Hollywood Studios February 6th, and I'll be there till the 9th too. We got lots of plans and prizes and activities going on. Hope to see you there. Definitely say hello to me. I've got a little giveaway for you. If you get a picture with me, I've got the Geekin' Charcuterie Board. Yeah, it's got the logo on it, and yeah, just like that giveaway they did at Disney World when you were a annual pass holder. Something like that. I can't wait to see you all down there real soon. And I got to thank you all for being supporters of mine on patreon.com. That's where you can pledge a monthly donation to our show. And thank you so much for all of you that have been doing that throughout the year and into this year. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll have some more live recordings coming up for you guys. There's some out there right now. And also those of you who support us with the Travel and Tiaras, just email them, travelandtiaras@gmail.com. Mom and I have been talking to some people on the phone already, getting ready for this year's trips down to Disney World with all the geeks. Thanks so much for supporting Mom and Auntie Judy with the travelandtiaras@gmail.com. We're always committed to helping you enjoy your Disney World vacation. Just reach out to me if you want to do a trip report or take a look at your trip plans. Kurt.stone@geekinonwdw.com. Look at that app that you listen to the podcast to in the notes. I put the Travel and Tiaras email there, my email there, and contact us. We'd love to talk to you about your next Disney World trip. And thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World. Well, this week we were talking about Universal, but that can be a fun part of your trip down to Florida, especially in wintertime. Get a few days down in Universal. We'd love to help you book that trip too. We can help you book that room and those tickets to Universal. We really appreciate you listening and geeking with us every single day. We love you geeks. Have a magical day. Have a magical year. Happy New Year. I hope all your dreams come true this year and every year.